well, welcome to another Purahome how to do it video. Today what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to change a whole home filter. And in this case too, while we're here, we have to change the UV bulb. Okay, UV bulb is designed to kill bacteria. This is a sediment filter. So whether it's sediment or carbon, it's the same principles on how to change it. Okay, so step one, we'll have Matt come in, our technician, is we need to isolate the unit and shut the water off.
The first thing you want to do, you should have a ball valve located next to the sump or off of where your water will be coming into the home. You want to shut the valve off there. In this case, the valve's here. You can use this pressure relief valve by pressing down. You'll notice water will start coming out to relieve pressure. Another tip you can do is turning a valve on somewhere in the home to depressurize the line and remove some residual water, making this filter change a lot simpler.
Okay, so step one is shut the water off, and the way the ball valve works is if it's parallel, it's open, perpendicular closed. So Matt has shut the water off to the home. Okay, we have a towel here if we wanted to depressurize the system, which is step two. In this case, we're just going to go to the closest tap and turn it on to depressurize the system. That relieves the pressure and it makes it much easier to take the housing off. So what we're going to do is go open the water in the bathroom and we're going to depressurize the unit.
Good.
Okay, so the unit is depressurizing right now, and you can see the water flow is decreasing. Okay. Okay, so the next step then is, now that we've depressurized the housing, Matt will shut the water off to the home. And all this simple step does is, it's not absolutely necessary, it just prevents water from continuing to drain from your home through the sump. So we're just saving the water in the pipes. So now that everything's depressurized, the next step is to take your filter wrench, put it over the housing ring, and you are going to turn clockwise. And it might be a little hard, but once you get that started, it should come off by hand. Oh, sorry, and it's also important to note that obviously you have to have a bucket below because we are going to spill some water. So be prepared with a bucket and a rag or a towel. So Matt's holding the bottom of the white housing, which is called the sump, while unscrewing the ring. And if you notice, because there's still pressure, the sump is still held in place. So what we can do here is Matt's going to depressurize the housing even further, and so water doesn't spill. Okay, thanks, Matt. I'll take that. And you can see that the housing released. Water went into the bucket.
There will be some residual water coming out of the sump head.
And here you can see what happened was the O-ring was dislodged, so I'm glad that happened, so we can show you that it needs to go back on. Okay, now we want to change the filter, so it's just a simple matter of taking the filter out. And if you notice, Matt has gloves on, which is very important. What's important too is you don't want to have dirty hands when you're changing a filter. You don't want to open the filter and put it on the ground either. You want it to go right from the sealed wrap right into the housing. And Matt's just giving it a little bit of a wipe. There is a little bit of sediment in the housing. So he's using clean paper towels. Perfect. So now what we're going to do without touching the filter is to take the wrap off. It doesn't matter which way. This is a double sealed filter, so anything that's sealed, as long as it's facing up, it'll be fine. Now we're just going to reverse the process. Okay, so the next step is reinstalling the O-ring, and you can expect the O-ring too, just to make sure there's no nicks in it. Matt's just making sure it's firmly in place. The O-ring looks good. It still has some nice lubricant on it, and even having it wet also lubricates it, which will ensure that it goes in nicely. So now you reposition the sump. Make sure the Purahome sticker is facing front in case you need to call. And Matt's just holding it in, and now he's going to put the ring back on. And now to secure it, a little tricky with 2 hands only. If you have a partner, they can help you. Matt's going counterclockwise to secure the ring. And the rule is always go hand tight. And then without going with too much force, just a little bit with your wrench. Because the idea is it has to be easy to get this filter out next year. Now that the filter is in place, we dry it completely. And the reason why we do this is when we come back, or you come back in an hour or before bed to look at it, if you see water on the housing, you know it's dripping and it will need to be retightened. Once it is dry, what we need to do next is turn the water back on to your home. So remember, you open the valves parallel to the plumbing. Okay, we've now changed the filter. The final step is at the nearest tap, just let it run. Hopefully it's a laundry tub, because now we've introduced some air into the system. Run that tap for about 1 to 2 minutes, and that'll help get some of the air out of the lines. You can let your water run for about 2 minutes as mentioned, and this will try to get as much of the air out of the system as possible. Not to be alarmed if your water is cloudy for a day or so, that will dissipate. And now you've changed your whole filter.